What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Good to see you all here. We're working on getting back in the algorithm here, and I know I need to do my lives more and build up my membership. But we've still got some members on here, and everybody, thanks for tuning in, saying hi. Hit the like button. Let everybody know that we are here. We've got some news in the Diddy case. There's always something going because remember, he is scheduled for trial in May, and that is coming up soon. I don't anticipate a delay. I'm thinking in 2 months we are going to be having a trial going on in federal court in New York City with Diddy on trial. And the big news today is his lawyers are preparing to complain formally about the fact that they say CNN altered the video of him assaulting Cassie in the hotel hallway. And then I think this is the real important part for the criminal case, that they destroyed the video. The alteration, I think we'd heard that before. The lawyers had said before that the CNN video was altered because obviously CNN is not just playing the whole thing unfiltered. I mean, they're speeding it up, they're sequencing it and getting it ready for air. So the big thing is they say that CNN destroyed the original copy of the video. So Danny, thanks for saying hi. Thanks for saying hi. Tony B, thanks for saying hey too. Everybody say hi. Let me know where you're from. I'm here in Los Angeles, just giving you guys an update on Diddy. I know there's some big news floating around with the tape, the recording of Jay-Z's accuser, and we will get to that here soon. But the news that I reported today was all about Diddy, and they are getting ready. Actually, he's going to be in court tomorrow in New York City. They're getting ready for a status conference, pretrial conference with the judge. So this joint letter that they proposed, or that the prosecutors and the defense filed today with the judge. Here, let me get it on screen here. There we go. It's got it buried in here about the video. We can see it here. It's like, which page is it on? Almost at the last. This is just them updating on what's going on here. So here. Let's take this banner down here. You can see it at the bottom here. So they say specifically this production will include a subpoena response by CNN with copies of surveillance footage from the March 2016 Intercontinental Hotel incident. That is the Cassie video. The defense has confirmed through a forensic video analysis of the CNN footage that the government provided to this court, and of the footage provided by CNN in response to the defense subpoena, that all CNN video footage was substantially altered in significant respects. This includes covering the timestamp and then changing the video sequence. It also includes speeding up the video to make it falsely appear that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they are. As a result, the CNN videos do not fairly and accurately depict the events in question. Finally, the defense has confirmed that CNN purchased the only known copy of the hotel's surveillance video footage, uploaded that footage into a free editing software, altered the video, and then destroyed the original footage, even though it knew about and repeatedly reported about the federal investigation. This will all be the subject of an upcoming motion in limine regarding the CNN-derived footage. We will be discussing the subpoenaed materials to the government, so it will be prepared to respond to the defense motion on this subject. And then we've got a lot of redactions here. But yeah, the upcoming motion in limine, that's the key. We're going to see a lot more than I think. So here. Let's play the video. I think we all know about the video pretty well here. Man. See what they say here. Wait for that ad to go down. But yeah, the motion in limine should be filed next week, and that will be a reader. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more details in there. Tony B, you're from Wisconsin. Thanks for saying hi. But obviously, this is kind of a last ditch effort by Diddy's lawyers to exclude the key piece of evidence, because I've always thought that the video is really his biggest problem here. But here's the report that I think has the.
Now, agents with Homeland Security raided two homes belonging to Combs, one here in Miami Beach, the other in Los Angeles. The property here in Miami Beach is an 11,000 square foot property out here at about. However, yeah, so we have reached out to representatives of Combs. However, we have not heard back.
The video. Oh, whoops. Diddy, minor setback for a major comeback. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he fares in the trial. The case really hasn't panned out the way that people thought it would. Everyone was expecting there to be more co-conspirators added to the indictment. Maybe not everyone, but I think a lot of people were. Maybe more charges, but I think people were really expecting more co-indictees, and he has not gotten that. So, but here we're not going to know much more until the motion in limine is filed. But obviously, they're going to be asking for this video to be excluded from evidence. Which, if they can manage that, that would be a pretty big win for Diddy. And I think the key there is not, well, it's key that the CNN altered the video, but kind of the what makes that key is that they also deleted the original video. They no longer have the original video, which, if that's to be inferred, that the defense can't get a copy of the original. So if that's actually true, it does seem like that could be an evidentiary issue, because I mean, it seems like the defense would want to have the original video up to, show how this was changed, how it was altered. I mean, I think the idea that it was altered so much that, he wasn't actually assaulting her in the video, and then they altered it to make it look like he was. I don't think it's that extreme, but you can see it's definitely a defense issue that they don't have the original copy of this video. And even if the edits were editorial from CNN, like, they don't see it as a big, it didn't change the meaning of the video. Like, if they just took out like a gap in time, 30 seconds here, or, took out another piece here, they would say that they still captured all the main parts of the video. But you can see from a court of law standpoint and from an evidence standpoint that would be an issue if the defense can't access the original video. But we'll see. This is my tweet about it. It says, emphasizing that CNN destroyed the original, even though it knew about and repeatedly reported about the federal investigation. And so they haven't sought relief yet, but they're going to. And that's the joint filing that I linked here. And this is Cassie's lawyer, Doug Wigder. Remember, he's the law firm that filed the original lawsuit against Diddy that kind of started this whole thing. And he says, "I'm confident that the video fairly and accurately represents what happened, will be admitted into evidence, and that Combs will be held accountable for his depravity." He says it's not surprising that Combs would make a disingenuous argument to exclude the disturbing video from being shown to the jury in the upcoming trial. Yeah, and it makes sense that his lawyers would be trying to find, any reason to exclude the video whatsoever, because it's that damning of evidence. But yeah, I think that pretty well shows how set we are for trial. I mean, we could be seeing more stuff like this as the trial gets near. But obviously, it's just Diddy's lawyers trying to do what they can to defend him. But let's get the filing back on screen, because this has a lot of info about it. Remember, they're all going to be in court tomorrow. Diddy's going to be in court tomorrow in Manhattan, going over the final stuff for the May trial. I imagine they'll have a couple more pre-trial conferences before that, and there's going to be a hearing on these motion and limines. But right now it's set for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, and he's also going to be arraigned on the superseding indictment, because remember, there was a superseding indictment just the other day that added a couple more allegations about the racketeering charge and how it relates to forced labor. So it's interesting that prosecutors are actually, it says in here that they're asking that the court commence voir dire, which is jury selection, prior to the scheduled trial date of May 5th, with the intent to present preliminary instructions and opening statements to the jury on May 5th. So that could mean, I'm not sure how long it takes them to select a jury, but that could mean bringing in the jury like a week, the jury pool a week earlier. But it says this schedule will decrease the risk of scheduling issues during trial and does not prejudice the defendant in any way. First, if the court does not commence voir dire prior to May 5th, 2025, the trial will likely last beyond the July 4th holiday, creating unnecessary additional challenges in seating a jury. This is based on an estimate agreed upon by the parties that voir dire may last up to 2 weeks. The government's case in chief may last up to approximately 6 weeks, and the defense case may last up to approximately 2 weeks. Second, conducting voir dire prior to the May 5th, 2025 trial date will ensure both witness availability and efficient scheduling. So that's a pretty big ask, because that could mean another 2 weeks early, maybe April, maybe a month from now, they could be in court trying to seat a jury if the judge agrees with this. And I can imagine the defense saying they don't think there's enough time. But Tony, I'm not sure if Diddy would make a deal. I think that's kind of past, and I can see the prosecutors not making like a reasonable offer to him. Their deal is going to be like he has to plead guilty to everything and do like 10 years or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing, but I can't imagine any kind of plea offer is actually something that they think that he should take. And the case is. I don't want to just say that it's beatable, but I think it is. I mean, you don't know. It just seems like there's a lot we don't know about the evidence, and other than this video, what actually is the evidence against him. And there's a chance that he could beat the charges. I think. I don't know, but I wouldn't anticipate any kind of plea deal. He says he's not going to give up a plea deal. And he can't give nobody up because he's the top fish. I never thought that anyone more famous than him would get indicted, but I did kind of think that maybe some people below him would be charged and testify against him as co-conspirators, but that has not happened yet. I think that could turn out to be true, Classy, that the prosecution doesn't have as much as they're leading on. Because in the very beginning, when this first came out, it was like, oh, this is just the beginning of a huge indictment. There's going to be more co-conspirators, and they're all going to take plea deals and testify against him. And we haven't seen that at all. He doesn't have any charged co-conspirators in the case at all. So I don't know. I mean, I've always thought the video was pretty bad for him, but if the video is all they have, they're going to have testimony. And I think that's the big thing is the testimony from, there's now 3 charged victims, including Cassie. How believable is that? And I think the overall defense is going to be it's consensual. So the video with Cassie has always been pretty bad for that because it shows him assaulting her. But I'm not, I'm not sure. Other than that, what do they have? And are people going to be willing to convict on a RICO conspiracy based on, use of escorts and videos of, orgy parties or something? I'm not sure. It's an interesting case. I definitely don't think it's just like a cut and dry, the feds have a 99% conviction rate and this is just going to be one of them. I think he has a chance. I mean, it makes sense that they're taking it to trial for sure. But let's see what the defense says about trying to start jury selection early. So the defense proposes that jury selection begin on May 5th and May 6th, 2025, with 2 written questionnaire days. We propose that the jury clerk summons 300 jurors on May 5th, 2025 to complete written questionnaires administered and supervised by the jury clerk on site at the courthouse. And then they summons an additional 300 jurors the next day to complete the same written questionnaires. So that'd be a pool of 600 people. That's a pretty big pool. The parties would then collect and review the completed questionnaires and lodge for-cause challenges between May 6th and May 8th, with the agreed-on challenges reported to the court on May 9th, 2025. So that would be all kind of behind-the-scenes actions. I mean, you wouldn't be there's not going to be a lot of in-court voir dire. It says on May 12th, 2025, we propose proceeding with jury selection from the pool of remaining jurors to be completed that day, with preliminary instructions and opening statements scheduled to follow or start on May 13th, 2025. Commencing voir dire at an earlier schedule would substantially prejudice the defense, as we have been planning to proceed with the trial no earlier than May 5th, 2025. Among other reasons, we have a tremendous amount of discovery to review and prepare in advance of trial. As the court is aware, we requested a sequestered jury selection process in which the jurors are questioned individually outside the presence of the other jurors. This is consistent with the practice in other high-profile cases of this nature. She cites Ranieri. What was that? I don't want to. I think I know what that one was. But then Maxwell. That's Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein's accused co-conspirator. So I don't know about that one, but I would lean towards, I don't think the judge is going to agree to bump it up that early, jury selection that early, because that's basically starting the trial 2 weeks early. I mean, opening statements wouldn't start before May 5th, but I think the defense has a good point there about how they're basically not ready for this. So and then who knows what's going to happen when they file their motion in limine over the video. That should be coming up soon, because remember, that's just casually like mentioned in here at the very end. It's they haven't actually filed anything yet. So the jury questionnaire, and this is pretty crucial. This is what kind of questions are the jurors going to be looking at here. Says the government respectfully requests that the court refrain from using a juror questionnaire, or in the alternative, use a juror questionnaire limited to only logistical issues, i.e. whether any conflicts would prevent a juror from being seated for an 8-week trial, rather than substantive questions. So that's like scheduling, work, pre-planned trips or whatever, as opposed to, I'm against the judicial system, or whatever your views are on that. So there's a deadline of April 11th for the parties to submit jury questionnaire form proposals. And due to the publicity surrounding the case, however, a juror questionnaire containing substantive questions would likely prolong jury selection and lead to an undue waste of judicial resources that is neither in the interest of the public nor of the prospective jurors. If a juror questionnaire was administered in this case, the government understands that the process would entail summoning prospective jurors to the courthouse to read through and complete the questionnaire, a review of the questionnaires by the court and the defendant and his counsel and the government to determine which jurors, if any, should be removed for cause, oral voir dire, which would likely involve follow-up questions to clarify the answers provided on the questionnaires. This 3-step process would likely take at least several days, if not longer. An oral voir dire would eliminate the first 2 steps while still appropriately disposing of for-cause challenges. Jury selection would begin with the oral questioning of prospective jurors, and the parties would propose juror strikes the same day. In-person questioning would allow the court and parties to directly assess the jurors and their responses, and to ask follow-up questions on the spot. Such a process would be more expeditious and less cumbersome, and would lead to the same outcome, the selection of a fair and impartial jury. So that's interesting here. I'm not sure. I'm not really quite sure where the judge is going to come down on that. But I do think it'd be surprising if we saw anything too early. Like if the judge agreed to bump up jury selection that early, because I think like I said, the defense makes a good point about how they're not really ready for that. But so the defense requests that the use of a written questionnaire. So they want one. And they said the court's already ordered it. I mean, it seems like it, yeah. If the court's already set a deadline for submitting the proposed questionnaires, then it seems like the defense is going that way. Regarding discovery, it says the prosecutors have made 25 discovery productions to the defense. So this is evidence, possible evidence that they're going to be using in trial. Maybe not all of it, but it's like everything that they've collected and gone over to build their case. But it says prosecutors have yet to receive any discovery from the defense pursuant to its obligations under Rule 16b. So that's reciprocal discovery, where to get ready for trial, the defense has to show, basically some cards to the prosecutors. Tony, yeah, if Diddy is found guilty, because it's a federal case, Trump could pardon him for sure. I'm kind of not thinking we're going to see that, but you know what? Anything's possible. You really can't predict anything with Trump. But yeah, Diddy definitely has pardon power there. And it's interesting what's going on with the Southern District of New York and just the political pressure on them. I mean, the MAGA agenda, the Republicans don't like the Southern District of New York at all. So I think Diddy automatically has some sympathy there with Trump because he's being prosecuted there. But I don't know. I think we're a long ways away from actually seeing a pardon, but it could absolutely happen. He does have the ability to pardon him for sure, but we'll see if that actually happens. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm trying to get back in the algorithm here, so it's a little rough on YouTube right now. But it says the court should order the defense to promptly produce any Rule 16b materials in its possession, including Rule 17c subpoena returns. So they're just complaining about the defense not issuing anything. It says the government is aware that the defense obtained subpoenas which were so ordered by the court and has requested the production of these records from the defense. However, the defense has informed the government that it does not intend to make any disclosures unless and until it is determined that such material is certain to be part of its case in chief, a determination that has not yet made with respect to any of the records that it has received. So we've still got a couple months to go on that, but says the defense is aware of its obligations under Rule 16, fully intends to comply with them, and never suggested otherwise. In fact, during a recent meet and confer, the defense explicitly informed the prosecutors that we would be complying with our Rule 16 obligations. To the extent that the court is inclined to impose a deadline for additional disclosures, we would suggest a deadline closer to trial, and after the government has produced its exhibit list, as been done in other cases in this district. So, and here, this is down here is the interesting stuff. This is the CNN stuff right here. So remember, they haven't actually filed a motion about the CNN destroying the video, but they mention it here in this joint filing. It says, specifically, this production will include a subpoena response by CNN with copies of surveillance footage from the March 2016 Intercontinental Hotel incident. The defense has confirmed through a forensic video analysis of the CNN footage that the government provided to this court and of footage provided by CNN in response to the defense subpoena that all CNN footage was substantially altered in significant respects. This includes covering the timestamp and then changing the video sequence. It also includes speeding up the video to make it falsely appear that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they are. As a result, the CNN videos do not fairly and accurately depict the events in question. Finally, the defense has confirmed that CNN purchased the only known copy of the hotel's surveillance footage, uploaded that footage into a free editing software, altered the video, and then destroyed the original footage, even though it knew about and repeatedly reported about the federal investigation. This will all be the subject of an upcoming motion in limine regarding the CNN-derived footage. We will be disclosing the subpoenaed materials to the government, so we'll be prepared to respond to the defense motion on this subject. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about this soon. And we've already heard, as I showed you guys, from Cassie's lawyer about what he thinks of this. He says it is not surprising that Combs would make a disingenuous argument to exclude the disturbing video from being shown to the jury in the upcoming trial. I am confident that the video fairly and accurately represents what happened, will be admitted into evidence, and that Combs will be held accountable for his depravity. So we'll see. I think, as I was saying earlier, kind of the key here is that the original copy apparently does not exist anymore. So if the defense is not able to access that, I feel like maybe it could be an issue, but a lot remains to be seen. I think we'll know a lot more when they file their motion in limine for sure. But anyway, I think we all saw the recording. The big news yesterday was the recording that Good Morning America got of Jay-Z's accuser talking. That's been going around, and I know. I mean, it's the same recording that's not cited, but is almost cited in the filings that we've heard. I mean, I was saying that they didn't include a recording with the filings, but it just seemed like likely that there has to be some kind of like recording on this, you know. But let's see if we can get the recording to come up. But yeah, the recording, an excerpt of which was obtained by ABC News, is between the woman identified as Jane Doe and two private investigators with Carter. So let's see if we can pull it up here.
The hip-hop superstar is now suing a woman for defamation, saying she falsely accused him of assault. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersi spoke with him. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. The woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault has already dropped her lawsuit. But now, for the first time, you're going to hear the story behind the bombshell accusation that has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z's lawyer says it should put to rest any doubt about his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z? Busby did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman, identified as Jane Doe, permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, called it a blatant lie that he pushed Jane Doe to sue Jay-Z. And he sent us this recording of a phone call with his client.
They say that they have you on tape denying that Jay-Z assaulted you. Is that true?
No. I don't. I've never said that.
Okay. They also say that you told them, and they have it on tape, that I, Tony Busby, told you to came up with this plan and told you to say that Jay-Z assaulted you so you would get more money.
No.
Jane Doe said in a court filing, although I ultimately chose not to pursue them, I stand by my claims. She says in a sworn declaration that she felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by these two individuals on my doorstep. Was she coerced in any way?
Of course not. They did not coerce her, promise or threaten her in any way, shape, or form. She voluntarily met and spoke to them, and she told them her truth, which was, under no circumstances did Mr. Carter do this. And number two, the only reason he's even involved in this is she was pushed to introduce him by a lawyer.
Does your client know Jane Doe?
No.
Ever met her?
No, Mr. Carter doesn't know Jane Doe, never met Jane Doe. There's no truth to any of this.
One of the world's best-selling artists with more than 140 million albums sold, Jay-Z is also husband to Beyonce and a father of 3.
Like we from Lagos, man, Samusa reincarnated. We on our levels, that's
He vehemently denied the allegations at the outset. He spoke about the painful impact that they had, especially on his kids. How as a father, has he tried to handle this?
It's tough to hear a false lie said about you, spread through the internet, and affecting your children. It's tough on him. It's tough on anybody. But what he does is he proves himself innocent. Today is hopefully the final chapter in that, and then they're going to move forward. That's what Jay does.
Jay-Z is now suing Jane Doe and her lawyer for defamation. Why not let it lie? The case is gone.
The truth had to fully come out. This person cannot be allowed to sort of hide from the reality that this was a false accusation.
While the accuser's lawsuit against Jay-Z and Sean Combs was dismissed, Combs still faces a number of other civil claims from other accusers, which he denies. And on Friday, guys, Combs is due in court to plead not guilty to a new indictment in his federal case.
So many of them.
All right. So in this, actually just in the lawsuit in LA, Jay-Z's lawsuit against Tony Busby, there's new filings today from Tony Busby, and I just got sent them. So here, we're going to look at them at the same time. Actually, this is a declaration from Jane Doe that was just filed today in the LA case. Let's see here. It says she introduces herself. She's talking about the declaration of Charlotte Henderson, which is one of the investigators who talked to her. She says, paragraphs 5 and 6 of the Henderson Declaration state that I was calm and relaxed and did not appear scared or intimidated. I cannot testify as to what Mr. Butler or Miss Henderson actually observed, but I was not in any way calm, natural, or at ease. Rather, I trembled the entire time we spoke. I was extraordinarily nervous at the fact that these investigators had found me and come to my house when I was supposed to be anonymous. I was shocked, and that shocked is the only reason that I engaged in conversation with Henderson and Butler for any period of time whatsoever. Paragraph 7, and this is of Henderson's declaration, states that, quote, at no point in time in our interaction did Miss Doe request to be left alone. Doe says, this is completely misleading. I may not have used the words leave me alone, but I told both investigators that they needed, quote, to leave as soon as I had figured out who they were and had managed to gather my wits. Paragraph 8 of the Henderson Declaration states that I told Henderson and Butler a number of facts, but this paragraph is false or misleading in several respects. As to each of the subparts of the Henderson Declaration, it is true that I told Henderson that I saw a Facebook advertisement from the AVA Law Group concerning Sean Combs. It is true that I told Henderson that AVA Law Group connected me to the Busby Law Firm. Subparagraph of the C of the Henderson Declaration is false. I never told Henderson anything about the purported facts recited in subparagraph C. Subparagraph D is false. I never told Henderson that Mr. Carter did not sexually assault me. I never made any such statements to Henderson or any other person. I never made any statements. So she's going through in each of the other paragraphs denying. It says paragraph 9 is false and misleading. Let's get to the other page for you guys here. I never stated, whether once or 4 times, that Mr. Carter did not assault me. And while it is technically true that I uttered the words, "How does this help me?" Henderson completely twists and misrepresents the context of my words. After I told the investigators to leave, I went inside and shut my front door behind me. Henderson called out, and this is redacted, but I'm assuming it's her name, "We're trying to help you." To that, I responded, "How does this help me?" I was frightened and shaken. I in no way asked for anything or implied that I would change my conduct or testimony for them. Henderson and Butler did ask me to sign an affidavit that my claims in my case were false. I refused their request. All of the testimony above applies to the declaration of James Butler as well, to the extent it purports to attest to the same falsehoods. And so she's not, and James Butler's declaration is the investigator who goes over her court stuff, her mental problems, her history of bringing false or sexual assault allegations against people and then withdrawing them. They say that she's done that 3 times. So her declaration is not actually addressing any of that or denying any of that, but it's all about the interaction with the other investigator, Charlotte Henderson, and who is the one who recorded her and had her saying, that Tony Busby is the one that pushed her into identifying Jay-Z. So let's listen to the actual recording again, because I definitely heard her say in that recording from on Good Morning America that Busby was the one who kind of pushed her into it. But let's listen to what exactly they're saying here. Pull it up here. Again, this is the declaration. I was just sent this. This was filed in LA Superior Court this afternoon. So this is the Jane Doe's first response to this recording that was played. Her first, her talking about what she thinks actually happened and saying that she was nervous and felt pressured by these investigators. But here. Okay.
Jay-Z's attorney holding a closed-door meeting with select members of the media yesterday, insisting, quote, this...
It's an old one, actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, we've seen that. Here we go. We'll bring it up here. I want to hear what is, because it's just little pieces. We don't have the full recording in my inbox, but Good Morning America interviewed Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, yesterday morning and played the snippets from it. So that declaration that I brought up here that I went over, where she says that she never said Jay-Z didn't sexually assault her, that's in response to this here. So, but yeah, again, I wanted to actually hear what exactly is said here.
Good morning, George. The woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault has already dropped her lawsuit. But now, for the first time, you're going to hear the story behind the bombshell accusation that has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z's lawyer says it should put to rest any doubt about his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z. Busby
But
did.
that's a clear quote.
Do you know
But
why?
before that,
No.
she just kind of agrees, yeah, he didn't sexually assault me. But she does say he was there. Which, I mean, a lot of Alex's whole early spiel, all the evidence he put forward was just showing that this party couldn't have even happened and he couldn't have even been there.
Is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing
Yes.
that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z was, you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z. Busby did.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman, identified as Jane Doe, permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, called it a blatant lie that he pushed Jane Doe to sue Jay-Z, and he sent us this recording of a phone call with his client.
They say that they have you on tape denying that Jay-Z assaulted you. Is that true?
No. No. They don't. I've never said that.
Okay. They also say that you told them, and they have it on tape, that I, Tony Busby, told you to like came up with this plan and told you to say that Jay-Z assaulted you so you would get more money.
No.
Jane Doe said in a court filing, although I ultimately chose not to pursue them, I stand by my claims. She says in a sworn declaration that she felt intimidated and terrified at being confronted by these two individuals on my doorstep. Was she coerced in any way?
Of course not. They did not coerce her, promise or threaten her in any way, shape, or form. She voluntarily met and spoke to them, and she told them her truth, which was, under no circumstances did Mr. Carter do this. And number two, the only reason he's even involved in this is she was pushed to introduce him by a lawyer.
Does your client know Jane Doe?
No.
Ever met her?
No, Mr. Carter doesn't know Jane Doe, never met Jane Doe. There's no truth to any of this.
One of the world's best-selling artists with more than 140 million albums sold.
So anyway, yeah, so we've heard the actual recordings there. And like I said, we had the declaration just filed today from Jane Doe. This is in the lawsuit against Tony Busby in Los Angeles County Superior Court, where she says she felt pressured. She never said Jay-Z didn't assault her, etc. So we're just kind of having a back and forth here that is just continuing on the Jay-Z case. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've got a lot going on this month, and I just wanted to try to get back on with the YouTube, get back into the algorithm. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna boost the views here, get back in. Give me a like if you can, give me a subscribe. But thank you guys so much for being there for me and for subscribing. And I hopefully will have a good some more updates for you guys later on. But anyway, thanks so much. I'll see you later.